Hello, I'm Linda Davis, and I'm presenting Distance Education FISDAP Schedule and Data Entry Lesson for Education 631, Foundations of Educational Technology and Online Learning. Today we're going to be working with a fictitious student that I have named Demo Student, and here we have the login page for FISDAP, and Demo has put in his information, and so we're going to go right in here and see if we can get some data entry done and check his schedule out. Demo has 2 rotations today, and we're going to click off this. We don't want to say that. He has 2 rotations today. One is an internship at Salem Rescue, and it's going to be a blue shift, and the green shift is the Roanoke Memorial Adult ED shift. We're going to be working right here in this shift. Demo's already put in 2 patients in here for cardiac arrest, and that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to add another patient here, pretty much the same with cardiac arrest, just so that you can get an idea of what's going on and how those are entered. Now, Demo is the lead today, and there's 2 people on that team, him and his preceptor, Paul. And they were dispatched with lights and siren, meaning it's a serious patient. And they did a patient, not really a patient interview, but they talked to relatives. The son was present, and they performed a patient exam because the patient wasn't breathing. They had to do a patient airway, and he's not oriented, so he's unresponsive. And we're going to make this patient be a 68-year-old male, and he's going to be Caucasian, and we know he's not having a good time breathing, and he's probably had chest pain, being his heart's not beating, or he has no pulse per se anyway. So his impression is going to be cardiac arrest, and it was witnessed by his son, who's a lay person. And then here we're going to have, there's the respiratory piece there. The pulse is brief, if at all, and then this patient is classed as a critical patient, so he's red. We'll go in here and we're going to put in some vital signs. Not that he has any. He don't have a blood pressure. He don't have a pulse. It's funny if this only lets you pick irregular week, but anyway. And he don't have any respirations or any O2 because he's not breathing. He's not going to have any oxygen in his system. Okay, so we're going to go in here. We're going to start out with doing some manual ventilations, but they're not going to be very successful, so we're going to have to go back in, and we're going to start this patient on intubation with O2, get some oxygen on board, and then we're going to check out the cardiac system. And here we go. We got the rhythm. We've decided it's a PA with from the 12 lead results, and we've got to perform a defibrillation. It's going to be automatic. We're going to use the machine to shock him and see if we can bring him back. And in the meantime, we're going to do an IV. We're going to put it in this form, in the right one, and Demo's going to do it once and get it right. Demo's a senior student, and he's pretty good. He runs calls all the time at home, so he's going to be successful on this IV, which is good because we need to get some meds on board here to help this gentleman out and hopefully get him to be a survivor. And we're going to do some atropine. Now, don't take all these drugs as if they are actual whatever treatments, whatever, because that's your disclaimer there. This is just for demonstration purposes. We're doing it through that IV. And we're going to add another drug. This one this time is going to be epinephrine, and there too again, like I said, let's not take these drugs as dead on right, because they may or may not be. And there too again, we're going to use that IV that Demo was so successful in getting in. Alright, so we got the meds on board, we got all that done, and we're going to do something else here. We're going to actually go in here and do a consult with the MD, because with a patient like this, there's so often we need advice. So we're going to treat and transport. Now, he's a serious patient, problem, so we're going to get him on out, and we're going to do what we call pack and go. Now, we're going to put in our narrative. Patient was found unconscious and unresponsive by son. Treatment at the scene. Package to go to chest pain center where treatment was turned over to chest pain center personnel. Now, for the most part, we're done with this patient. We're going to save this. And I always tell students, save, save, save. Can't save too much. And we're going to go down here and we're going to hit Review Shift Documents. And we're going to look at this, be sure we've got everything in our, this would be the time if we didn't get something right. There's our 3 patients. The first one's a 55-year-old, the second one's a 65-year-old, and this is the one we have right here, the 68-year-old. And we're going to take and be sure that we got him as a lead. There was 2 people, Paul and him, and they did dispatch with lights. This is a 68-year-old Caucasian male with breathing and chest pain, cardiac arrest, respiratory. Layperson was witnessed it as his son. There is a critical life-threatening illness. The vitals aren't good, and the manual ventilation didn't really work, so we did an intubation with oxygen, and we decided this patient's got PEA because he's not breathing and his heart's not beating, and we determined that by 12 lead, and we've got the IV started with a 14 gauge needle in the right forearm, and we've got these 2 meds on board, and we've already contacted the MD over at the chest pain center, and we're ready to go. We're taking him and getting on out. And then we're going to see if we can get this thing to move on back to our shift overview. And there's a couple of things there I'd like to point out to you if we can get this thing to move back. It's been rather slow today, so we're going to see if it'll work for us. It may or may not. And it looks like it's trying down here to have some movement, and there we go. There's our 3 patients, and here are all of our evals that were put in. One for the preceptor, one for the site, one for the self-eval. And up here is where I want to show you if this is locked. Once it's locked, if it needs to be unlocked for any editing or evals put in or anything, then they have to contact me as the administrator. So this is our lesson, and I hope that you learned how to check a schedule and how to do some data entry into these patients. On the clinical side, it's pretty much the same, and so this pretty much finishes up our lesson for the day. And you all have my information, so if you need to contact me, please feel free to do so. Thank you and have a good day.